good day to you.
Good day to you. So yeah, it has been too long, and at long last, Raging Nerd On lives.
It's been a minute, right?
It's been a little more than that. Yeah, life got in the way with all the other things we had going on.
June, July, August, mid-September.
Yep, that all that happened. So look, before we get too far into it, let's make sure we address this. So welcome to Raging Nerd On, folks. I am James Ferguson.
I'm BJ Booth, and Infinity War was good.
Yeah, that's right, because I think the last time we did this, you hadn't seen it. Is that right?
I think so. No, we had one episode after that, but I didn't listen to that one. I'm not a fan of the show.
Well, yeah, I could tell by all the negative reviews you left me. Fuck, man.
I leave a lot. I leave a lot of 1 stars. I got a lot of fake accounts. I
mean, like,
that's why Apple won't let me update any apps.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I would have thought you had, like, anything better to do, but you're like, no, you know what? Fuck that guy, all right? I haven't heard from him in a couple days, so fuck him.
I got nothing going on except vindictiveness.
Just pure rage, you know.
Just petty rage.
Yep,
that's all I got in my life.
The same thing I've been running my entire life on since 1987, so,
yeah.
Pretty.
The only difference is I have a child and a pretty girlfriend who refuses to leave me.
Yeah, man. So like, what else is going on? Like you've been going on. You got plays and stuff like that. Every time I see anything going on with you online, it's like you're doing this play, you're doing that play. Like it just seems like it's a nonstop play thing. I
do. You want to know what I was supposed to do this year, theater-wise?
Yes.
Nothing.
How did that start out then?
I was supposed to do nothing. I was supposed to direct and assistant direct for a couple of things, and it ended up being involved in almost every play this year.
Okay, well, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't have any money from it, so it's not great. There are two good things I guess there's three. The show I directed, I was very proud of my cast and they did a great job. But the one I assistant directed at the beginning of the year was real directed by Jackie, and she fucking knocked it out of the park. And it's still the one to beat this year. And the next one coming up that I'm also assisting directing is directed and written by an internationally known playwright and award-winning playwright from Orange County, Brian Petty, who and Jackie is an actress in it, so I'm hoping to beat that. But just so I can beat Jackie directing.
All right, that's what I was going to say. Like, what do you mean by beat? It was like, how does that work?
I want it to be a better show than hers.
Again, coming back to the petty vengeance.
I'm all about petty vengeance. Yeah. I want to beat her. She's in the fucking show. I don't know how.
You're gonna purposely give her the wrong direction.
But he's not directing this at all. So.
Oh man, I missed this. So yeah. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, I've been busy day job stuff. I've been to Pittsburgh, L.A. and Atlanta since
those are all
June. Well, Pittsburgh.
Actually, those are all pretty dope.
Yeah, Pittsburgh was my brother's bachelor party, who has since gotten married. So he's had the bachelor party and then the whole marriage thing, and he's been married for like a good month since already. But we went to a WWE pay-per-view event, Extreme Rules, in Pittsburgh.
I saw. That's crazy that you went to a real wrestling match.
Dude, it was fucking awesome. It was.
Man, it cool in life?
It's really cool. Like,
I've never been to a real wrestling match.
This is the first time I'd gone. It was incredible. But first, let me just explain a couple things. So Pittsburgh is a 6-hour drive away. So I looked that up and I was like, 6 hours? Like. I asked my brother, I was like, how the hell are you getting there? He's like, oh, we're going to get like a van. It's like a van with like 6 other dudes. Like, I don't want to do any of this.
See, you don't drink. No. It's more fun if you do that when you drink.
So, what ended up happening was I flew out there with 2 other guys that were just as smart as I am, And it was an hour and a half flight. We were there. We were in Pittsburgh. We got lunch. We
Just
walked around.
fart.
We saw the town, and everything was great. They shuffle in there like a few hours later. But the real kicker was on the way back. I'm home. Everything's all set. I'm home by 10 o'clock a.m. I get a text from my brother at like 8 o'clock saying, I just got home. We've been on the road for 12 hours. The van broke down halfway home. They had to rent a car to get the rest of the way back. I was like, oh shit, man. I'm like, I've been home for like 10 hours already.
Oh, 6-hour Uber is an expensive Uber.
So it was like, oof, man, like, that sucks for you, but like, next time, maybe think of the plane. Like, wasn't a bad idea. I feel pretty proud of myself.
It's not their fault, for fuck's sake.
It's 100% their fault.
Right?
It's 100% their fault.
You stop it. Just everybody else drinks doesn't make things their fault.
But no, I went on a bar crawl. That happened. I went to like 3 or 4 different bars, and I drank water in the finest Pittsburgh establishment. But it was that happened. It was a thing. But the wrestling thing was insane. Oh, and the other thing, the one thing my brother really wanted was apparently if you sit within the first 6 or 10 rows of a pay-per-view event, you can take the steel chair that you're sitting in home. That it's like a branded chair for that event.
Get the fuck out of here! It
costs probably $400 or $500 to sit there.
Oh, I don't want to go. That's a lot of money for a chair.
So my brother had his heart set on the chair, and we're like, all right, maybe we could get one. Like, look, there's clearly empty seats up there. Like, they're getting rid of them. Like, we'll go up. So he was like, man, I really want one. So me and another guy went up there, and we started just talking to security guards and stuff, to see if we could do anything. And there were some really angry people down there that were like, no, get out of here. Like, we paid for these seats. I'm like, yeah, I know, man, but it's my brother's bachelor party. We're just trying to find a seat. Like, chill out. I'm not trying to take your seat. I'm looking to get a seat.
They're dumb shit wrestling fans who probably to this day still think it's fucking real. If people are getting angry at a live venue for wrestling, you take soap operas far too seriously, and no one gives a fuck about your opinion. Let go of the chair, you fucking dipshits.
It was tough to get them because they were actually zip tied together. So we had to wait and stuff, and it just ended up not working out there. But on the way out, one of the other guys.
No, stop. Put your mouth on the fucking zip ties and gnaw the shit off. It's your brother's wedding.
I'm not gonna gnaw it off, stick my face in between, what might have had, a bunch of Pittsburgh people's asses all in the middle of that. I love the kid, but, come on.
Fuck you, man. You know what? I'm a better brother to your brother than you are.
Well, look.
Corey, you go with me next time.
Well, long story short, he did get a chair because there was another guy walking by with one, and one of his buddies was like, "Hey man, I'll give you $100 for that chair." And he's like, "What, $100?" And then one of his other friends just whipped out a wad of cash, shoved 520s in the kid's face, and just took the chair. That was it. It was the fastest transaction I've ever seen in my life.
That's wonderful. Congrats, Corey, and congratulations on your blissful marriage, buddy, and your excellent gift that you did not have to pay for. If you had to pay $500 for that chair, I would say you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But excellent friend paid way less to give
so it.
All worked That's out.
Awesome. But that happened. Since then I've gotten into. I've started following wrestling again, and it's fucking insane.
Is it good insane or bad insane?
It's a fun insane. I don't get to watch Monday Night Raw or something like that. I don't get to watch that live. But then what I'll do is they have. The WWE has a ridiculous YouTube channel where they just have clips, the kind of highlights from each show. So I can just put that on, all right, see it, and I'll watch that quick playlist or something like that on Tuesday morning. And it's just after every clip, I'm just man, fucking wrestling. This shit's crazy. It's just some unbelievable soap opera nonsense, but it just fucking works. It's just hilarious.
I never thought of watching it that way. That sounds perfect. That little bite-sized, funner clips instead of watching these terrible actors speak for way too long. You cut
through all the bullshit, so I don't have to sit there and watch a 3-hour show. I can just watch 20 minutes worth of YouTube clips, and they put it all in a playlist too. So you just hit the first one, and then it just goes through each and every one. and it's
right. How you
exactly how I described it. Yes, fuck you. The only drawback is that like at the end of each video they have like links to other videos that you might want to check out, and they play this like same annoying song that for some reason is like 6 times as loud as the volume in the regular clip. So like the clip
is it by Park? Because it sounds already like it's by Linkin.
It might as well be, but like I don't even know how to describe it because it's like the thing will end and all of a sudden it's just like, come on and fight back, and I'm like, what where did this come from? Like I have to like lower my speakers and everything like that. I'm like, I'm sorry everybody, like sorry, I'm watching wrestling. Please tone it down.
Yeah. WWE repping rap rock when no one else wants anyone else to rep rap rock.
We got the latest from
we got
the latest from Limp Bizkit coming at you as the entrance music for this guy.
You guys like 21 Pilots? No! Well, we're gonna give you 21 Pilots!
Well, that's the other thing. Like, wrestling fans can be, like, total assholes in the arena. Well, in everything life, yes.
in every venue, in every amount of life.
In the one I went to in Pittsburgh, the last match was a half hour, 30-minute Iron Man match. So they both donned these suits of armor, and they just fucking shot at each. Yeah, it's a different kind of Iron Man now. It's fucked up.
I didn't know that they wore suits of armor now. I thought Iron Man was just like, Jared says, they wear suits of armor now? What is wrestling become?
They really leaned into the gimmicks, and it was a product placement for Avengers, so it was kind of fucked up. But no.
What? There's only 2 guys who wear suits of armor in that fucking movie.
No, I'm obviously fucking weird, but yeah, it's a thing of endurance, yes, but so they have to like win as many times as they can within a half an hour. So there was a clock on like the big screen counting down for 30 minutes, and the crowd got bored after like 2 minutes.
And
after like 2 minutes they got bored, and then they're like, "Hey, there's a clock. Let's count down to 0 every time." So it was like 27 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock. And then they start counting down, 10, 9, 8. They get down to 1, and they go, and then they do it again and again. So it gets to the point where like, no one is watching the match. Everyone's watching this fucking clock, and I'm like, this is fucking embarrassing as a human being.
So everyone is so live wrestling acts are just as bad as sports stadium. If I go to a game, it's kind of the same
hold on,
thing.
There's more to the story because
everybody getting bored and everybody acting like a dipshit.
But eventually, they shut off the clock because they're like, these people are assholes. You can't have this clock. So they shut it off, and then the crowd lost their fucking minds. There were just like constant boos and everything. So then, as a retaliation to this, they just started counting down at random.
You know what? I take everything back. That's fucking brilliant.
It was
That's
fucking ridiculous. So 15 seconds would go by, and then it would hear 10, 9, 8 again, and then again another 15, 20 seconds. Like, there's some other asshole on the other side of the stadium who's like, let's do it again! And then it's like, man, fuck you, guys, shut the fuck up.
I don't know, man. I applaud that kind of commitment. They turned it off to silence them, and they would not be silenced! If we could only, as a nation, apply this to the Black Lives Matter and the
or
Me Too
anything
movement.
that matters. Literally anything that matters.
None of those people in that stadium voted.
Oh my god, no.
But they sure love counting
Sure
down.
love clocks.
You fucking mongoloids.
I guarantee none of them wear a watch.
Yeah.
All of them are guys that probably just look at their cell phone, or if they do wear a watch, it's the most god awful thing.
I don't wear a watch.
Well, I know. I'm just saying it's probably they've never seen a watch. It's one of those things where whoa, what's that circle with the 12 numbers on it? What the fuck is that thing? And it's like,
what are all these little lines?
What is this?
Where's the 9?
So yeah, that was Pittsburgh. What else is going on for you? Anything else new and exciting?
No, nothing much. It's all just busy work with the theater and life and shit. I've been getting a little overwhelmed with reminding myself how many things I'm supposed to catch up on TV. I haven't watched the last season of The Tick.
I haven't watched the first season.
I haven't finished Handmaid's Tale. There's a billion things I haven't fucking watched.
Yeah, I watched Glow. I managed to watch the second season of Glow, and I'm like, I watched that because that was part of the trips and stuff I was on. I was able to just binge through some of that stuff. I watched a few of it. I'm cool. Almost caught up on Voltron, which is kind of cool. I really like that show still.
Yeah.
I haven't watched fucking Punisher or Jessica Jones or Luke Cage or Iron Fist. Just fucking dropped. Haven't watched any of that.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Started on Fist and got kind of bored. I gotta watch it. Everybody says
I heard
it's
it is
better. But I just, there's too much stuff that I know I'll like. So I put that. BoJack Horseman season 5 just dropped today. I want to watch that. I don't give a fuck about Iron Fist now that BoJack dropped.
I tried to. The main thing we fell off on the CW shows, so we had to catch up on all.
Yeah, really?
We fell off and watching them live. We missed a couple. Then it was all right, we'll just wait because CW puts their shows on Netflix a week after they finish, so we were able to just try to watch those. So we finally caught up on all the episodes that we watched there or that we missed there. So that was good. But otherwise, yeah, we haven't started anything else new.
So I texted you about this. The only movie that I've seen since Infinity War is a movie that you and Monica hated. I watched Kingsman 2 on HBO.
That fucking movie.
That movie is a bummer.
It's such a disappointment.
Holy shit.
I think...
Not it's predictable, but it's fucking boring. After the first car chase ends, it's just consistently boring for another hour and 40 minutes.
The very beginning and the very end are cool, but everything else, it's man, fuck you. This is just boring shit. You ruined this whole franchise, Fox. Come on. But then, shouldn't be surprised after, Alien and Predator, and this is we're just gonna run this shit right into the ground.
I think that movie could have been better if they tried to write around, what's her fucking face?
I don't know.
Julie?
Who?
I can't remember her name.
Who are you thinking of?
At the Silence of the Lambs, Clarice.
Jodie Foster?
Jodie Foster!
Was she in a movie?
No, not Jodie Foster.
Julianne Moore.
It's, Julianne Moore. If they wrote around her character and had her be in more of the movie, I think I would have liked it more because I thought she was super great and charming and menacing, but she's barely in the movie. And when she is in the movie, the writing's fucking stupid.
It's just ham-fisted and dumb.
Stupid.
It's man, Fox knows how to ruin a franchise. That's it.
They sure do. That's a bad fucking movie.
You know what I saw and was just about was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I didn't see it. Again, I haven't seen a movie since
I've been thinking
Infinity
about
War.
it, and I think it's because it came out after Infinity War. I still have a malaise over me of just man, none of this shit matters. Fucking hey, Thanos kills everybody.
But it is a prequel to Infinity War, to be fair. But still, anything that comes out after Infinity War that doesn't directly tie into that movie is kind of a jerk off,
that's exactly the way it was. So I saw it, I was it's fine. I was probably being too harsh on it because of that. I don't give a shit about anything until you get to Avengers 4. That's what we need.
No. Yeah. That's the problem with announcing your fucking movies or even making movies after your massive culmination of 10 years in one movie. They should have just taken a fucking year off. At most, release Captain Marvel, because at least that's a legitimate fucking prequel that will definitely tie into Infinity War because that's the hero of the next movie.
Is it though? How can they introduce a character to be the Deus Ex Machina to show up and fix everything?
Well, the movie has to come out before Infinity War, so we know the.
Yeah.
There was no avoiding that. But if there's anything coming out, it should have just been Captain Marvel. Like, y'all motherfuckers have made like $4 billion off of these fucking franchises. You could have taken a year off, with the exception of the Captain Marvel.
No one's going to forget it. No one's going to be like, man, who are these guys? What's the dude with the shield again? I don't remember what any of this is.
Yeah.
No.
One of the top movies. It's one of the top movies of all time. No one's forgetting that.
So, yeah, I think I will give it another shot, later on. But just, like, seeing it in the theater, I was just like, man, like, it's fine. It was a fine movie. But it's just like, I don't give a shit about any of this right now. I just want to see Infinity War.
Right, it's still a bummer. Like, you just watched the most important part of this whole franchise to just watch a heist prequel that doesn't have anything to do with anything. That kills Michelle Pfeiffer off with barely even...
Yeah, but she'll come back. Like, they'll bring her in.
I know, but, like, you don't introduce Michelle Pfeiffer, have her in a movie for less than 10 minutes, and then kill her off in a post-credit sequence. That's ridiculous. Everyone was super excited to see Janet, and it's fucking Michelle Pfeiffer, and you guys did nothing with her, and then you killed her off in a post-credit sequence. It was a dry hand job. That whole movie was dry. Like, every movie, like, I can't remember what the slate is for next year, but I hope, is it Captain Marvel first, and then Infinity War, and then everything else that's slated?
I don't think that they have anything else officially announced, because I thought Avengers 4 was the last thing that they had announced, because I think it's...
Well, no, next year is also, I just don't know, I don't remember the release date, but it's the next Spider-Man movie, too. Far From Home is the next...
Yeah, I think that's...
I assume it's after Captain Marvel and Infinity War.
That's gotta be like a July movie. That'll be like July, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't...
All right.
Infinity War should be...
May.
Avengers 4 will be in May.
Infinity War Part 2.
Avengers 4. The untitled Avengers 4. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's Captain Marvel first, and then Captain Marvel will probably have, like, the Black Panther spot.
Is it March?
Yeah,
March,
something like that. It'll probably be whenever Black Panther came out. That was, like, February. It'll be somewhere in there.
I think Captain Marvel's March. I think the trailer is supposed to come out next week, right?
Brie Larson's going to be on Good Morning America, I think. Gotta get.
Yeah, can't wait. Remember 2 weeks ago when she was like, "I'm about to break the internet."
Here's some pictures of Skrulls.
Bills. Like, fuck you, Brie Larson. Learn the internet.
We're not breaking it. I mean, come on. We're better than this. It's like I don't need the Skrull mixtape that you have that you dropped on that fucking picture.
Did you hear the Skrulls diss track against Machine Gun Killer? It was fucking awesome.
He went there. He 100% went there. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Couldn't even
that's the real origin of the Kree Skrull War was a diss track on their fucking mixtape.
Machine Gun Killer talking shit about the Skrull.
Yeah, look at your fucking scrotum face, motherfucker.
God, mumble rap is so stupid. I am old and white.
Excelsior.
Nine? Fuck you, get off my lawn. The Skrulls look dope, though, don't they?
Like, that is a dopey thing. Like, the Skrulls are like a dopey looking alien race in the comics. Like, they look fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, they 100% look stupid. The design has always looked cheesy, but they do look cool.
You know what they look like? They look like everyone on Titan looked like Thanos, but tried to be a professional wrestler, but could only be an indie wrestler. Like, the Skrulls are like that stupid chin that does not look good if it's not purple. Fucking hate. I've always hated the Skrull design. The movie Skrulls look fucking awesome.
It's funny how, like, they just kind of tweak it a little bit, and it's like, oh, no, that's good. You got it.
They tweaked it a lot. I mean, like, maybe I'll give the internet, that maybe the costume design itself is a little overtread. like in the looks of like it looks like kind of a trench coat, and kind of but the face looks fucking so great, way better than the comic books.
Speaking of Infinity War, though, I picked up the movie and my kids watched it, and like I forgot for like a hot second, like the very end. And then I was like, it's almost over. Like, all right, we'll wrap this up. And then everyone starts dying, and Oliver was fine for the most part. He gets it. He's like, it's a fucking movie. They'll all be back. But Parker lost it when Groot died, and he just started screaming, Groot, come back! Groot, come back! Like, all he was saying for the rest of the movie was, Groot, come back. So I had to show him a clip from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie to show him that, like, Groot is okay. Groot is coming back.
Yeah. Now, my concern with this is that Parker did not lose his shit over the very violent and graphic Loki death.
No, he was fine.
Right away.
He was fine.
That motherfucker turned purple. And
he's fine. He's just like, kill that motherfucker. Like, he flat out... Yeah, he looked at me, and he also told me snitches get stitches. And then he did like that thing where like he dragged his thumb across his neck, in like a really menacing way. That kid's a fucking anarchist.
Lovely. I congratulate you on your tiny psychopath that you're raising.
Yeah, man, that kid doesn't abide by anyone's rules. Like, case in point, this evening, I was like, all right, guys, it's fucking Saturday. I don't know what the hell to feed you. Pancakes. All right, we got fucking pancakes. Here you go. I turned my back on Parker for 5 minutes, all right? I was like, all right, you're eating pancakes. He's like, I don't want syrup. I'm like, you sure? Okay, fine. And I leave the syrup on the side. I come back. He has dumped the entire bottle of syrup on his plate. The pieces of pancake are just swimming in a fucking pool of syrup on the bottom there. And I'm like, how? Why? What would have possessed you to want to do this? Like, you unscrewed the entire cap and was just like, fuck it, and just poured the entire thing out.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Dude, you have no idea how many times I've said that exact phrase when describing his behavior. It's happened way too frequently.
Yeah, David S. Goyer just wrote what parents said for the Dark Knight script.
It's completely true.
Well, it turns out a lot of kids say the size of a tangerine. Oliver started kindergarten, so he's part of the school system now. It's out there, man. It happens. I was kind of hoping that you would have homeschooled him on crazy shit.
Like, I'm not a monster. What the fuck, man?
Well, I just wanted to, like, I don't know anybody with 2 kids. You're my only friend with 2 kids. So I kind of wanted to control and a variable from you. Like, we're gonna raise Oliver normal, and we're gonna raise Parker
fucked up
at home. On like nonsense shit, like purple is green.
That's fucked up. Well,
green
it's funny,
pink.
like when you say that, but
Alec Jones is right.
No, God no. Do you remember that site, F My Life? There was like just people that would post like just like shit that happened to them.
Oh yeah.
One that like always stuck out to me was like this woman that wrote that her daughter came home from school in tears, and she's like, what happened? And she's like, oh, like I people were making fun of me when I was saying the colors. And then she talked to her husband, and he's like, oh yeah, I thought it would be funny to tell her the wrong colors for shit. And it's like, oh no, like you're a fucking monster.
Somebody actually did that. So somebody did my joke, my
in
fake
real life,
joke,
that's
a bummer.
It's a monster. Yeah.
Great. Now I feel like a hack and sad for that kid.
That's all right. She probably gets 2 Christmases now, so she's probably doing okay.
No, that kid's getting put in jail for shooting up her school. That's how they end up. Don't homeschool kids, America. You're not qualified.
There's a reason why teachers go to school and get certified and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you. The catalyst for this very episode was me texting you out of the blue to ask you, hey, or tell you, remind me if we ever record a podcast again to ask you, to tell you a story and ask, is this racist?
I feel I'm very qualified for this because I do say the wrong thing quite often in the guise of a joke because I think jokes work and I know better because jokes don't work anymore.
So let me set the stage for you here. All right. Earlier this week, I go to a meeting with a day job. It's me, and 3 other people on my side, including like a higher up at my company who's like late 70s. Okay. The other side of the table, the client, are 3 white guys and a black woman. Okay. We sit down. We're there.
Gotcha.
We're there 2 minutes. We sit down. Introductions are made. We sit down, and one of the guys on the client side compliments this guy, the older gentleman on my end, on his attire. He said, "Oh, you always look really sharp. That's a great jacket." Now, I don't know if he was being facetious because the jacket looked like it was like this orange plaid number, and I think
he was being facetious.
But
no one's dressed like that since the last Leisure Suit Larry bit.
So this guy then launches into a story about how he bought this suit at this one place, and he bought the same one in mint. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you have an orange jacket and one in fucking mint, but all right, whatever, fine. And he keeps going on. He's like, and when I was there, I was right next to that guy. Who's that guy from the Today Show? And they're like, Matt Lauer, and he goes, no, that is. So then he gestures to the black woman and goes, the Negro guy.
No, this is what. Is that guy still employed?
He's like higher up in the company, dude. Like he's still there. But he like 100% said the Negro guy, and I was like, what? Like it was like one of those moments where like everything stopped, and like I'm the only one that's like moving at normal speed, and I'm like looking at everyone at the table, and I was like, did this just happen? Like, am I awake?
You turned.
I'm like.
That's the moment. That's how the full. That's the new Flash's origin. It's so totally racist, and then time stops for no one except
like, did this just
you.
happen?
And
Am
now
I
you're
alive?
the Flash, trying to run around the Earth and stop.
Well, no, I have to run as fast as I can to make the Earth spin backwards and put time backwards,
just
like
so you can get
like the end of the first Superman movie, and just be like, that guy, and I'm just like, Al Roker, and, like diving in front of it, like I'm trying to take a bullet. Yeah, it turned out it was Al Roker. So,
because that's on the Today Show.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
But it was just one of those things that I was like, I can't. And it's funny. Every single person I've told this story to, because I got back to work and I was like, let me tell you, like, gather around, everybody. Like, does James have a story for you? And every single person has had the same exact reaction of jaw dropping, no.
How old is the guy who said that?
77?
Okay, well, I thank God he didn't say something worse. No, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That guy remembers flipping out over people drinking from the same water fountain.
Oh
Thank
my
God he only said.
Yeah, so that happened. I'm just like, I can't. And then, like, almost like to make...
Yeah, that guy's got to be put down. Hey, America,
take his
America,
keys away.
take
his keys away. He's done.
The euthanization of pets is very sad, and I understand why it's necessary. But I do not understand why it's not necessary for the human race. A lot of these people need to be put down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. I 100% agree. It was rough.
Yeah, I am advocating government-sanctioned murder of a lot of white people.
The Onion headline that I most remember is, if the heat doesn't kill the elderly, I will.
It's the actual news, probably.
No, it's if the heat doesn't kill the elderly, I will.
Good. I hope that Onion writer does. I hope that was just a manifesto instead of an Onion headline.
Yeah, that. Well, speaking of.
That is rough. That's at your job in your life.
It is.
Wow.
But.
Ooh, I'm never going to complain about my job again. At the very, I work, it's only white people, but at least they're not shitty white.
Well, look, speaking of shitty white people, this is a great segue. Do you want to talk about Comicsgate?
Oh, yeah, I kind of do.
Like, what the fuck?
You know what? I've been having fun with you, and I missed you so much, and I kind of don't want to get angry tonight.
All right, we can table that.
But I feel this needs to be said because it's somehow still relevant today.
Well, I don't think it's relevant, but it's fucked up. Well, like let's outline it first of all. So first off, you've got what this fucking basically, if you've heard of Gamergate, it's the same kind of nonsense. Although they're yeah, but anyone that tells you that they're part of it will be quick to say it's not that, it's not. But it's basically racist, homophobic, sexist, transphobic nonsense for these fucking idiots.
Yes, it's all neckbeards wanting things to only be for neckbeards.
You know, they're mad. These are the same people that railed against the fucking Last Jedi. It's the same fucking idiots. They're all out there.
Anything Owen says ever about the weather.
It's they're fucking assholes, and they try to say like, no, we just want good comics, and we don't want people to get jobs without not based out of merit. And it's like, man, fuck you. Like, you know, people are getting jobs because they're good at what they're doing. Like, it's like, no, you have to work and you have to slave away at comics forever. I think it's ultimately comes down to them being jealous that they're not being hired to write Spider-Man because they've never written a comic before. And they're like, what do you mean? How come this person got to jump in line? They didn't jump in line. They've been paying their dues for years. They might have been writing in another medium, but they've built up an audience and they're out there. So shut the fuck up.
It also comes down to them not wanting good comics. They don't want good comics.
They want the same bullshit that they grew up on.
Escapist bullshit all of the time. And escapist bullshit exists. And I don't want to call it bullshit, but escapist material exists. You can read that all of the time. It is written all of the time. And the absolute fact is there aren't political political comics are not pushed in front of your face. They are very few and far between. They happen to largely be
I would argue though that comics have always been at least somewhat political. I mean, look, dude, the fucking Captain America punched Hitler in the face. Like, their politics have always been part of that. Like, look at the X-Men started out as an allegory for like racism and fucking homophobia and all this other shit.
Yeah, Captain America was invented to politicize the war for pro-American ideals.
Yeah.
But not all comics are. Not every Captain America comic is you have to fucking be whatever America. I just lost my train of thought.
It's basically if they want that kind of shit, it's out there. But like, look, the fact of the matter is, stuff is changing and evolving, and the audience for these things are changing and evolving, and you know, it's not the same crowd anymore. So they are changing and updating comics.
And if you don't want to change and evolve with that, there's plenty of comics still out there for you. Frank Miller still writes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
There's plenty of escapist material for you guys to latch onto. There is no reason for you to attack things that other people want to read. There's no reason for it. You are part of this fucking Nazi bullshit establishment that's uprising, and you need to take yourselves out of the fucking equation. You also need to be euthanized. Not just old people. It's dipshit who thinks that only white male fucking comics should exist.
Well, and not only that, but like they'll hide behind the guise of criticism, saying, "Oh, I was just criticizing your comic." Yeah, is that why you called the female writer a cum dumpster? Because I don't think that's how criticism works.
You're not criticizing. You're attacking people. You're attacking people to the point where they don't want to use a free advertisement platform anymore because all they fucking get is fucking assholes who live in their fucking parents' basement trying to death threat them into fucking stopping doing whatever they do creatively. It's ridiculous. You don't do anything creatively. You are not contributing to anything. If all you're doing is threatening people, you need to fucking kill yourself.
So here's a couple of things on this. So I didn't get to read the article you sent me about them talking, but one of the guys, you sent me an article about Bleeding Cool about Joe Quesada talking to some of them, but here's a tricky thing. So I get press releases from a variety of different places, and I'll write about them based off of what I get in the press release. I got one a couple weeks ago from some like indie company. They're running an Indiegogo campaign. And I wrote about it, posted it, didn't think anything of it. It turns out it was for one of these guys' books, and I'm like, fuck, I've like accidentally promoted a Comicsgate book, and like I'm not naming a name. I'm not saying.
Well, I mean, that's not your fault.
Yeah, I had no earthly idea who this guy was beforehand, but now I'm like, all right, like I'm not gonna draw attention to it. I'm not gonna retweet him or anything like that. I'm just gonna like leave it alone and back the fuck out of this guy and never touch it again.
Yeah, that's not your fault. Like it's not anybody's fault when a creator sometimes just all of a sudden comes out and like, I believe Muslims should be fucking murdered all the goddamn time. It's not people's fault for trying to. It's just not your fault. It's not.
Well. So that, all right. So that I'm comfortable with. But the other thing is, did you see? Have you followed anything about Alterna Comics?
No, I saw something briefly. I haven't been reading it. I told you earlier. I've been trying to not get myself riled up and angry all the time.
This is another kind of like sticky wicket.
I've been actively avoiding.
So here's another kind of like sticky situation with this, and this is why I'm torn. So Alterna is an indie company. It's been around for like 12 years. Think like like a cheaper version of like what Image Comics sets out to do. It's like it's creator-owned stuff. They push stuff out, whatever. They retweet people that like tag them and say like, hey, I just bought your book. Like I'm happy. Yeah, which
of course.
Makes sense. And
why wouldn't you?
Yes.
You're a company.
Thank you for the support.
Yeah,
that's
like,
great. So
yeah, it's all not their responsibility to investigate their lives.
Yes. See, I agree with that. Now, someone called out the publisher, the guy who runs the company, to be like, hey, you're retweeting Comicsgaters, because like they have like a specific hashtag that they use, and like. Stop that kind of thing. And he's like, these people bought my book, like I'm just trying to like thank you for buying the book. You bought, that's it. I'm like, I'm not looking in their profile or anything like that. I just tweeted out a thank you. And it blew the fuck up, mainly because this guy wouldn't condemn Comicsgate. That's I think why it became a thing for it, was because he didn't say it was, he kind of took the Trump position of like, there's bad stuff on both sides kind of nonsense. And it's like, well, I don't agree with that either.
Thank you for buying my book, but I don't believe in you. Like that, like if someone calls you out just being like, look, I didn't know. I'm glad they bought the book. It's how I make a living. But yes, of course, I don't agree with this. Are you happy now? No. But they're not happy now. This problem with leftists.
Well, hold on, but he never did that. He never did that. And that's the problem. He never condemned it. He was just kind of like, yeah, man, like comics are for everyone. They're for everyone, including assholes. Like if they're an asshole, fine. But like they bought my book, like they're fine. And it drew this line in the sand. And ultimately he released an updated social media policy for the company that said, like, if you're a creator and you're working with us, you can't use what's called a chain block or a blockchain thing with it, where basically you block one person, and then you block anyone that's associated with that person. And it just kind of goes through, and all of a sudden, like, you press one button, and you've blocked, like, a couple hundred people. And because his thing was, like, well, no, if they can't reach you, they're not going to buy the book. They're going to be offended that you blocked them, and they may not know why.
That's not fair.
It's not fair to whom?
It's not fair to the companies. They're trying to sell a book. Like they're not concerned with your political ideals. They're trying to sell a product. And like they don't have to agree with you, but they also don't not have to agree with you.
I'd also argue they don't also have to have access to a creator. Like Twitter is a privilege, and if that person has decided to block you for whatever reason, that's their prerogative. Like, you know, if they block you, like, all right, like, sorry, you can't go and talk to them. Like, it's not like before Twitter, I couldn't like call up Stephen King and be like, hey man, I fucking love your book. Like, I can't do that shit because I'd be a fucking madman. But I also, on the same logic, I wouldn't be able to call up, fucking Jared Leto and be like, man, fuck you in the face.
I'm gonna cut your throat because I don't like your Joker. Like it's not. It's people like the regular people shouldn't have access to the internet.
No, now I see. Net neutrality was wrong all along because the internet is a privilege that we have just soured. We have wasted.
Yes. I just don't know how to. I want most people not to be able to use most things, but I understand that's not democratic, and I think I consider myself far left, but not as far left to be like, if you don't agree with exactly what I think, fuck your company, and I'm going to try to ruin your career and everything your company stands for and everything. Like, you're trying to sell a product. It is not their responsibility to cater to everyone. It's just not. It's just not. If you don't like what a certain company is doing or putting out, you don't have to fucking support it. And just go the fuck about your goddamn day.
You don't have to like tag all of those people and personally make sure that they know. Like, can you imagine like if you were at work and it's like and someone just like came in and be like, hey man, you've never met me before, but you're doing a shitty job. Fuck you. Also, you should die. Like that would be kind of fucked up, wouldn't it?
Well, we have, including this one, we have like 77 fucking episodes of me railing against a bunch of fucking people, but I'm not calling for their heads.
And we're not personally tagging them in the thing and be like, hey, I want to make sure that Jared Leto knows how BJ Booth feels, you know?
I'm kind of doing that. But it's just Jared Leto.
He's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that we didn't like. Like, in recent.
And also, I'm in the same field. I'm allowed to be jealous and angry at people who are worse than me, but with better careers. But you motherfucking neckbeards who contribute nothing to any art or to anything in life in society ever, you need to shut the fuck up. You cannot death threat people. You gotta shut the fuck up. Stop burning your fucking Nikes.
Oh my
Nikes
God.
are dope. You morons. This country is full of fucking idiots.
Yep.
Young, old motherfuckers in an ad meeting and say Negro while pointing to a black woman's face. You're idiots. Shut up! You Comicsgate and your fucking Gamergate. Enough.
And not for nothing, but like you realize
your dicks are little and fucking
and not for nothing, but like you realize the fact that like the term gate is not a positive expression. No, like it's based off of fucking Watergate. Like
they adopted like it's the term gate after a word was the most negative fucking thing for 30 years, and these dumb shit, white, feudal, useless motherfuckers decided to put it at the end of every word of their hobbies when they're pissed off at women or Negroes. Fuck you guys. You're morons. I will cut every one of your faces.
Well, hold on, like let's stop because that's like that's like the one line where it's like, yeah, but now you're threatening violence, and that's what they're gonna suddenly white knight about. Like, whoa, who threatened violence? You just
that's
said
true. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut every one of your faces. I'm just gonna kick you in your fucking dick.
I'm waiting for like the New York Comic-Con panel of Comicsgate, and guess what? All the panels came out. There wasn't one, so no one gives a fuck about them.
I was kind of hoping because I would have crashed it. Definitely would have tried to muscle my way into that and fuck everybody in those chairs.
And you know what sucks too? One of them that's like hardcore in it is Ethan Van Sciver. Do you know who that is? Yeah. So he was like he's an amazing artist. Did some like phenomenal work on Green Lantern.
And
he's now it's like oh.
Yeah, you're a bad dude. But like if I can afford it, I'll buy an original art piece of yours.
It's funny, like I reviewed a Green Lantern comic he drew maybe 6 months ago, and I even put in the thing like, hey man, like regardless of how you feel about this dude's politics, he draws one hell of a Green Lantern, and it's like you can't deny that, and it's like I have to like put that aside. Oh, and that's the other thing, like with this whole Alterna blow up, like I have creators that have written books for Alterna that have reached out to me and they're like, hey man, can you cover your book? And I kind of like have them in this like weird limbo right now because it's like I don't want to punish the creator, but I also don't necessarily want to support everything that this company's been doing lately.
No, it's ridiculous that you have to put your own career on the line to promote something that's great in art. You do not have to agree. Like, I can't wait to see the new Louis C.K. special, but I fucking hate what he did. You should not have. You can separate that shit. You can separate it. If Ethan Van Sciver has a fucking charity auction for something that I believe in and I can afford to buy one of his prints, I'm going to buy it. It doesn't go to him, but it goes to his charity. Like, you can support things without supporting the person.
Now, you actually bring up a good point with it's something I want to talk about with Louis C.K. Like, what is the, like, time limit? Or, like, does he go in, like, pop culture jail for a little while? Like, what are the lines? Like, for example, James Gunn, all right? Like, we didn't get to talk about this, but James Gunn was fired off of Guardians 3 because of tweets he made 10 years ago. And he apologized for. He showed how he had changed as a human being, and it was called out because of the right-wing assholes that did all this too.
Yeah. It was straight up a Nazi site. It was straight up a Nazi site that called him out on it.
So now my thinking, the way I've looked at it now is like I was okay with that. Now I'm a fan of James Gunn's work. I'm a fan of him as an individual and what he's brought not only to Guardians but in other films as well. So I'm looking at it of like, well, am I biased by saying like, nah, I'm gonna forgive him? Like, but I haven't forgiven some of the other celebrities that are out there. But I think the line was he made jokes. They were dumb jokes, but they were jokes. Like comedy gets a pass with that kind of stuff. He wasn't, whipping it out in front of a person of like, that was like uncalled for. Like that's a line. Like, and that's what Louis C.K. did. So like that is a line. Like I'm not totally ready for him yet, But James Gunn, like he could come back.
Comedy gets a pass. Person doesn't get a pass. Comedy gets a pass.
Yeah. So like I felt like that is like the line with this whole with like everything that's been going on with like the Me Too movement and stuff. Like I feel like that's okay when you. If it's words and it's words in that kind of form, like sure, some people might have gotten offended and some people have been like, man, that's fucked up. Like, that's not something that's okay to joke about. But at the end of the day, it is comedy. Like if he was a stand-up on a stage somewhere and he made those jokes, he probably would either you would have had some people that laughed at him, like uncomfortably maybe, and you could have quickly realized, hey, this isn't the right setting or like this isn't working, and change the material.
Here's my perfect example of your point. And I agree with you on this whole thing. I agree. It sucks. They're stupid jokes. They're terrible, but it's just comedy and they get a pass. But here's the example for Louis C.K. When he hosted SNL last time, his monologue, he opened with a bunch of pedophilia jokes and it was hysterical. I cannot fathom any situation where I would be okay with pedophilia, but those jokes were fucking hilarious because they're just jokes. They're jokes. If you're offended by them, that's okay. You're offended. You don't have to like the joke, but to try to ruin someone's career over jokes, and Louis C.K. did some shitty shit, but This ties into the James Gunn thing. He made pedophilia jokes. They were bad jokes, but they were just jokes. Never fucking he did not deserve to lose his job over something. He apologized before he had the job he lost.
Yeah. And that's my thinking of it, is like, it's words, it's jokes, that one's okay.
Like, as much as, like, I hate to have to, like almost kind of agree with a bunch of far right people, but the far left has gotten out of fucking control. They really have. They really fucking have.
Yeah, I can.
With this gun, with at least James
that
Gunn.
Well, no, I feel like people were okay with him on the left with that. Like, yeah, okay, it's fucked up, but like they were fine with him. Like yeah, he paid his due, but also he was on the left. Like, he's on the left side, so.
Yeah. Also, when he made those jokes, he was writing for Trauma. Of course, anyone who wrote for the fucking production company who made Samurai Cop, fucking Tromeo and Juliet. He wrote Tromeo and Juliet. Nobody gave a shit about that movie. That is one of the most offensive fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. Did I not go watch all the Guardians movies because I was offended by Tromeo and Juliet? No, you dumb motherfucks. You're fighting against your own goddamn party.
Ridiculous.
You're making yourselves look worse.
Yeah. So, look, just a quick reminder, folks. Don't forget to vote in November. Every vote counts.
Yeah, do that shit. Unless you're far something, then just take yourselves out. No,
yeah, just vote. Just regardless of it is, make your voice heard. If you're an idiot, I mean, that's your fucking right as an American.
That's your right. You have a right to be an idiot.
God bless America. So on that note, folks, welcome back to Raging Nerd On.
I'm glad we got some raging at the end, I guess.
All right, usual nonsense, folks. I mean, you figured out how to listen to the show this way. Maybe try to do that again if we ever do this again. I think we will. This was fun. I'm glad we were able to do this. We have a lot more to catch up on that are still out there. But otherwise, maybe be nice to us and leave us a positive review to kind of cancel out some of the mean people that left some like really fucked up reviews for us lately.
You have a bunch.
Yeah, we got a handful of those now.
I looked today, and boy, the people.
So anyway,
started this up.
We did it again. But fuck all those people. I don't care.
You have successful podcasts that people like. I look what the weak link is.
All right, folks. Well, in any case, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that. You can tell us directly at ragingnerdon@gmail.com or at ragingnerdonpod on Twitter. Although, based off of everything we just said, maybe they're just like leaving the negative reviews over there instead of contacting us directly to tell us that they hate us.
Oh, maybe. Maybe we should start being like Alex Jones. Let's be conspiracy theory.
Please, God, yeah. Just because he got kicked off of every platform doesn't mean that we're gonna fill that void, okay? Like,
why can't we?
We're gonna stop this discussion. No, BJ, we're gonna stop. We're stopping this. We're stopping this. No, stop it. No, because this is like one step away to be like, do we really need all the Jews? Like, no, like we're not doing this. We're not having this fucking conversation.
No, come on. Let's just do it on the opposite end. Let's be like, do we really need all the whites? Opposite. We can be the opposite and still sleep at night. I hate white people.
There's a title. So...
Episode 78. I hate white people.
All right, folks.
Love.
Yeah, that's it then for this episode of Raging Nerd On. I have been James Ferguson.
I do hate white people.
Nerd on, everybody.